Alright, welcome back to part 2 of my Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles review. Today we're going to be talking about the 1997 PlayStation classic, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Now, much like Rondo of Blood, when you start off the game, you have your different save files you can select, and it shows a nice completion percentage. Now, this is pretty much the same game that was released on the original PlayStation. There have been a few tweaks here and there. For one, they did change the controls a little bit because PSP does lack a couple of shoulder buttons. And the second one...
Dracula, die now and leave this world. You'll never belong here.
Oh, but this world invited me. Your own kind called me forth with praise and tribute.
Now, technically, these changes do make the dialogue a little better, but I much prefer the campiness and cheesiness of the original "Die, monster!" So, you know, kind of an unnecessary change, and I'm not sure why they did it. So, after the brief prologue, you start the game up as Alucard, who is the son of Dracula. And because of his vampiric blood, it really doesn't make sense for him to have the vampire killer whip. So instead he has a ton of equipable swords, shields, and other items as well. You know, in addition to that, you have armor, you have a couple different ring slots, capes, just tons of options to choose from. And this game does have a level up system. You know, for every enemy you defeat you get experience points, and when you level up you get a higher attack and defense ratings. So when you start off the game, you'll have a pretty linear path. It's basically a straight line through the second boss. Once you purchase a certain item from the library, though, you'll see the game will really open up to you, and there will be tons of different areas you can explore. And besides Alucard's different weapons he can equip, he also has a lot of different abilities that he can use to make his way throughout the castle. He can change into a bat, wolf, or mist. Later on you get this poison mist form that I'm using here. You'll also be able to unlock a whole bunch of different magic spells which can be used by entering certain button combinations. And they can really help you out. And you also have the option to equip different familiars, and they actually help you out in different ways. There are some that just attack enemies. You also have Fairy Familiar that can free you from being stoned, also restore your health, and you know, revive you if you should happen to get knocked out. Otherwise, if you don't have the fairy equipped, it's game over. There's also lots of different relics you can find throughout the game, which enable you to change in the wolf, bat, mist. Also enable you to have items materialize, show enemy damage, so on and so forth. And this was the first game that was billed as a Metroidvania game, since it had a very similar gameplay style to the Metroid games on the NES and Super Nintendo. Features save points, a huge overworld map to explore, and there's a bunch of warp points as well, which will allow you to fast travel through different parts of the castle, which comes in handy because there is quite a bit of backtracking in this game, so it does shorten your playtime a little bit. One thing I do have to mention is this version does not contain the extra levels that were included in the Saturn version. Not sure why they didn't include those in here, but worthy to note if you were thinking about getting this, hoping to get a cheaper way to play those bonus levels. And if I had to knock this game for anything, it's that's a little bit too easy. It doesn't make it bad, it's still an amazing game. But, you know, it would have been nicer if it was a little more challenging. Something else different about this game is when you beat it, not only can you play as Richter, you can also play as Maria and use all her funky animal attacks to decimate the enemies. And both characters pretty much control just like they do in the original Rondo of Blood. However, Richter has been given a few extra little special moves. For one, he can do this little charge here, he can do a high jump attack, and he can also run fast by double tapping the directional buttons. And overall, this is just an amazing game. controls really well. It's a lot of fun. There are tons of secrets to unlock. For the first 3 years that I own this game, the original Castlevania Symphony of the Night on PlayStation, I would find something new every single time I played, whether it be a breakable wall, new section of the game, new boss, new weapons, armor, whatever. There'd just always be something new to unlock and discover. Probably take you about 15 hours your first playthrough. After that, you know, you can do it in under 10 easily, and it's still a lot of fun. I've played through this game at least 25 times. It's just an amazing game, and very happy to have this on this compilation here. It's the best game in the series in my opinion, and yeah, that's about it. I'll see you next time where we'll discuss the remake version of Castlevania Rondo of Blood.